One of the reasons we stay stuck in analysis paralysis is because we leave decisions open-ended. We say things like, I'll think about it, or I need more time, or let me pray about it. And we all say these things, but sometimes, if we're honest, it is code for I'm stalling because I'm scared. So I don't want to make this decision right now. Hey, dreamers, welcome to the Dream in Action podcast, the podcast where dreams are encouraged and action is celebrated with full-blown hype parties. I'm TRE, your host, certified transformational coach, your dream doula, and resident hype woman for all things courageous and creative. I'm here to help you stop sitting on your dreams and start moving toward them with boldness, faith, and actual practical steps. Today, I'm feeling quite proud of myself. Why? Because if you consume your podcasts via YouTube, then you would notice that for the first time ever since this podcast started, whether this iteration or the previous iteration, I uploaded a full video podcast. That for me felt like a huge feat because, guys, I'm still a one-man band behind all this. And while I absolutely enjoy recording the podcast, I don't particularly enjoy the tech or admin side of things, but I'm not one to back down from trying things out. And after trying it out, well, I'm not sure I will record video for every podcast episode. And that's just the honest truth. Because, guys, I genuinely love audio. I loved radio growing up, and I still do. And then I fell in love with audio podcasts. Not to say there's anything wrong with video podcasts. I just think it's a different mode of consuming content, right? I love audio. I love the intimacy of it. It's what drew me to this style of creating content in the first place. But I also understand the power of video. So I'm a little torn. What do you guys suggest I do? DM me on Instagram at HeyTiari. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But if I'm 100% honest, I think I still lean towards audio. So don't hold me to always having a video podcast uploaded. So on to today's episode. Today, we're pulling the curtains back on analysis paralysis, which I refer to as the thief of action. And we know that anything that keeps you from taking action is an outlaw in these parts. And we will not stop finding tools and strategies to keep that from happening. If you've been feeling overwhelmed or stuck in your head and caught in this loop of second guessing every decision, then this one is especially for you. So how do you ensure overthinking doesn't stop you from taking action? How do you even know you're overthinking so you can stop it before it paralyzes you? Also, in today's episode, I'm debuting a new segment. It's the Q&A segment. So last week, I reached out to you guys on social media and asked that you DM me some questions so that every week I'll be responding to one of those questions on the podcast. I'll try my best to make sure that the podcast episodes align with the questions, but as I don't have control over the questions, I cannot promise that. That said, this is something new to look forward to. Also, if you're listening and you do have a question you would like me to cover on the podcast, then make sure you DM me on Instagram at HeyTiari. And without further ado, my name is Tiari, and you're listening and watching a whole or a part of the Dream in Action podcast.
Have you ever felt like you were just existing, not truly living? Like you were made for more, but somehow life got in the way? Hey, I'm TRE, your host, transformational coach, and dream doula. Welcome to Dream in Action, the podcast where we don't just talk about dreams, we bring them to life. For years, I nurtured others, first as my mom's oldest child, then as a mother myself. And then somewhere along the way, I lost me, stuck in autopilot. But I was never able to shake the fact that my mom passed away at just 42, full of unfulfilled dreams. And I knew I couldn't keep waiting. So I embraced the stretch, took action, and found opportunities in places I never expected. Now, I help women over 40 do the same. Stop waiting, start dreaming, and take bold action. If you're ready to go from feeling stuck to building something meaningful, you're in the right place. This is Dream in Action.
So, before we even dive into how to know if you're dealing with analysis paralysis, let's talk about the disguises that it wears, because it is very rare that it shows up announcing itself. No, it's a lot sneakier than that. Sometimes it is dressed as being responsible. Other times it's just trying to be wise, trying to make the wise decision here. And my personal favorite, I'm just doing some research. That's the classic one. I've been caught in it myself. But how do you know you're actually stuck in it? Now, here are the usual symptoms. The most obvious one, you're not taking action at all. That one is quite apparent, isn't it? And then you feel constantly overwhelmed, like there's always too much to think through. Another symptom is you second guess every decision you make, almost like you sabotage them just to return back to the decision making stage. And then another one, you are in the learning loop, consuming more and more and doing less and less. Isn't it wild how overthinking an idea to death doesn't lead to better results or wiser actions? In fact, most times it leads to the exact opposite. Now, if you notice, I haven't suggested that you don't think. In fact, one of my favorite books of all time is John Maxwell's How Successful People Think. So trust me, I'm all for thinking. Thinking is good. It is necessary. Strategic thinking, reflective thinking, creative thinking, problem solving thinking, these are all amazing. Overthinking, on the other hand, is like being stuck in a rocking chair. You're moving, you're swaying. It feels like effort, but you're not actually going anywhere. You're burning brain calories and still parked in the same spot you were yesterday. So I guess the natural lead on question then is, what is the difference between thinking that leads to action and then thinking that leads to paralysis? The first difference to consider is the root of the thinking act. We are either thinking to act or thinking to avoid acting. And an honest evaluation usually tells us which one we're in. But we've got to be honest, like brutally honest, because the line between the two can get very blurry, especially when fear is in the room. I had this client some time ago who wanted to write a book. We'll call her Emily. She'd been dreaming about it for years. She was journaling snippets, she was hoarding chapter outlines, researching, publishing routes, even buying courses, which she never finished. On paper, she was working on her book, but in reality, she hadn't written even a single chapter. So one day I asked her, what is stopping you from writing even the first paragraph? Do you know what she said? She said something in the lines of, I'm still trying to figure out the structure. I want it to be perfect. Now, to the untrained ear, that sounds reasonable, right? Thoughtful, even diligent. But as a coach, I could hear the fear. She wasn't thinking to move forward, she was thinking to stay safe. So I told her as gently as I could, you're not stuck because you don't have enough structure. You're stuck because you're scared of starting messy. And isn't that what usually happens to most of us? Anyway, do you know what happened next? She agreed to write one imperfect paragraph a day for a week. No pressure, no fancy writing cave or room, just a tiny act of rebellion against fear. By the end of the week, she had her first chapter. The point is, paralysis often disguises itself as preparation, and sometimes what looks like responsible thinking is just fear in a stylish suit. And listen, I get it. I am someone with a very active inner world. A million browser tabs open in both my brain and my laptop at any given time. I've lived in the land of what ifs and I'm not ready yet. But those statements don't get you answers. Instead, they are building a wall between you and action, between you and momentum, between you and the dream. And what I've learned, unfortunately, the hard way, is that clarity rarely shows up at the start. Most times, it meets you as you move. So now, instead of waiting to feel ready, I've trained myself to take messy micro steps, not because I have it all figured out, but because if I wait until I do, I'll be waiting forever. Clarity is the result of action, not the prerequisite for it. So if the issue isn't really clarity or that you don't have enough information, what is the real reason you aren't taking action? What keeps us in that safety zone of analysis paralysis? Well, I believe it is because acting means risk. It means choosing a lane. It means people might see you stumble. It means your perfectionism doesn't get the final say. But what if action isn't the enemy, but delay is? That simple refrain helped me a lot. Let me say it again. What if delay and not action is the enemy? Let's drive home the point a little deeper. What if you were that client I spoke of earlier, Emily, and you had only 1 month to live? How would you approach writing your book? Would you care about a lot of the things that you're caring about right now? I suspect not. So here are 3 simple tools I recommend to get you out of that space of spiraling. Number 1, name the fear underneath the overthinking. Yes, it's Miss Good old fear again rearing her head. It's usually fear of something. And we talked about naming things in the last episode. Naming a thing transforms it from abstract to tangible. Tangible is measurable. Tangible is movable. Tangible means you can do something about it. So is it fear of failure? Is it embarrassment? Is it fear of success? And yes, that is a thing. When your fear is just a murky cloud of what ifs, it controls you. But when you name it, for instance, I'm afraid of wasting time, or I'm scared I'm not good enough, or I don't want to look stupid, then you're no longer being chased by a shadow. You're standing in front of something real, and real things can be faced, they can be planned for, and most importantly, they can be dismantled. So ask yourself, what am I really afraid of right now? What is the actual thoughts driving all this overthinking? And then don't run from it. Get curious. Ask questions. Okay, number 2, set a timer for decisions. Yep, I mean a literal timer. A timer is so powerful. My youngest doesn't really enjoy reading, and he's home educated, so reading, at least for us, forms a huge part of our home education. So we came to an agreement. We read for 10 minutes and we set a timer for those 10 minutes. So as we start reading, he is looking to make sure I have set the timer to 10 minutes. One of the reasons we stay stuck in analysis paralysis is because we leave decisions open ended. We say things like, I'll think about it, or I need more time, or let me pray about it. And we all say these things, but sometimes, if we're honest, it's code for I'm stalling, either because I'm scared and I don't want to deal with this right now. Now, I'm not saying don't be prayerful or thoughtful, like I said in the beginning. I like thinking. Thinking is good. But what I'm saying is put a healthy boundary around your decision making window. If it's a big life altering move, then yeah, take a few days or even a couple of weeks. But for everyday decisions like, should I pitch for that opportunity, or should I buy that domain name, or should I post the video or put out that post? Give yourself 24 to 48 hours max. Because most of the time, we don't need more time. We need more courage. And what is courage? It is taking action in spite of the fear. And here's the beauty of having that deadline. It builds momentum. And once momentum kicks in, you become unstoppable, my friend. And then finally, number 3, create before you consume. Now, this one is major, especially in a world where we are constantly scrolling and watching and comparing. Here's the trap. You're about to write your first blog post. But first, you watch 5 videos on how to write a high converting blog post. You want to launch a coaching offer, but first you sign up to 3 masterclasses and read 7 sales pages. And before you know it, you've consumed so much, you feel paralyzed again. You're no longer inspired, you're intimidated. And I know this from personal experience. Believe me, I'm not anti research, but there's time to fill your tank and there's time to hit the road. So from now on, here's the rule. Create before you consume. Record your voice note, draft the offer, write the caption, then go and get inspired if you must. Don't let your creativity die in someone else's algorithm. Overthinking thrives in a sea of options, but clarity comes from doing. Okay, so let's recap. These 3 tools are how we begin to reclaim our minds, especially in those moments we are feeling overwhelmed and questioning our abilities, or just plain tired of second guessing every decision. So, name the fear because you can't conquer what you won't confront. Set a timer because courage has a window. Create before you consume because your dream deserves your voice and not just the example of the people that you watch. I hope you found this discourse beneficial and picked at least one thing that you can take action on today. Now, before we wrap up, here's the little Q&A segment that I said we're going to start off today. This is where I answer real questions from dreamers just like you and myself. Now, today's question is one that I know so many of us wrestle with, especially when analysis paralysis is on full blast. It is from Nadia, and she says, and I read, I have so many ideas, T. How do I choose one without fearing I'll regret it later? I'm a true multi-passionate. One day I want to write a book. The next day I want to start a retreat. The next I'm dreaming about a product line. I'm afraid of picking the wrong thing and then wishing I'd gone another route. Oh my goodness, Nadia. That is such a good question. And I wish I could reach out and hug you right now and tell you that you are not crazy for having so many ideas, or alone for that matter. This was my personal challenge too, and that of many creative people that I've known and coached. And it still is my biggest challenge, which is why I've covered this topic in all shapes and sizes many times over. Now, here's the thing. Having many ideas isn't the problem. It is the fear of regret, especially as you're getting older. Regret is the shadow side of perfectionism. It whispers in your ear, if you don't choose perfectly, you ruin everything. But the truth is, there's no perfect choice. There's just movement, one foot in front of the other, with room to adjust as you go along. Instead of asking what the right idea is, ask what idea can I commit to for the next 3 to 6 months, knowing that I can refine as I go along. You're not signing a contract for life. You're simply choosing one seed to water for this season. And ironically, action creates clarity, like I've been saying a lot in this episode so far. The more you move, the more you'll know. But standing still, trying to choose the right idea, that's what keeps you in the spiral. So my most loving invitation to you, Nadia, is pick one that is most aligned for now. Key phrase being for now. Then start messy, but start. And if you or anyone else listening or watching this needs help with identifying your starter one, then grab my free dream activation kit. Inside the kit, you will find the Spark session, which is a guided coaching audio to help you reconnect with what you really want. And then there's the Dream Discovery Workbook, which maps it all out for you. And then there's Dream Speak, a short but powerful affirmation track to shift your mindset. It is free, but do not underestimate it. I know for sure that it will help you. So head to the link in the show notes or DM me the word dream on Instagram at HeyTiari again, and I'll send it straight to your inbox. Now let's wrap up today's episode with this quote that really hits home when you're stuck in your head. It is by the great Martin Luther King Jr., and it is this: you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. And that's it for today, dreamers. Stop waiting for permission. Stop overthinking the path. Just take the step, because clarity doesn't come before, it comes through action. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep daring, and keep moving towards your spark.
And that's it for today's episode of Dream in Action. I hope this conversation stirred something in you, maybe a fresh idea, a little more clarity, or just a reminder that your dreams are valid and worth pursuing. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a review helps people find this podcast. It's like telling the algorithm, hey, this is worth listening to. So if this spoke to you today, and you don't even do any of the other two, please share it with a friend or two. Before we go, let me leave you with one of my favorite Bible verses of all time. Never doubt God's mighty power to work in you and accomplish all this. He will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination. He will outdo them all, for his miraculous power constantly energizes you. Ephesians 3:20. Until next time, dream wildly, live boldly, and keep going.